Welcome to CMPAC Spotlight, where we take time out here at Access 21 to highlight our producers who are doing such a wonderful job on their shows. Today I have with me none other than Donna Dye of A Healing Touch. Donna, how you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Good. Thank you for coming here today. Thank you for being here with us today. So we're going to ask you a bunch of production questions.
All right.
And excited about where this is going to take us.
Yes.
So question number one.
Okay.
What was production like when you first started here at Access 21, and how has it changed over the years?
Okay. We had a longer time. We had to take more classes before we could actually become producers.
Really?
At the time. We had to volunteer, I don't know how many times we do now, but we had to volunteer 6 times per show, per class then. Just many changes. It's okay, but it's just, it gave us more time to get a little more sure of ourselves, a little more education. Whenever we did lighting, we had to put the lights exactly like we found them. And I'm not talking about just the jails or whatever, I mean in the position and everything when we first started. So lots and lots of changes.
Absolutely. So what do you say to what do you say to the newer members that have 4 labs and they don't have to put the lights back and stuff like that? What are your thoughts on that? That's intriguing.
We need you. We need you. We producers need you. We're willing to help in any way that we can. Some of us have a lot of experience. If you have any questions, please come to us. But it's so much fun, and you get to know so many people.
Absolutely.
Some of these people I've known for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And I just got to say hi to somebody I hadn't seen in a number of years, and we were really close at one time. So yes, it means a lot.
Yeah.
Come on and have fun.
I think that's what it was for anyway, to speed things up, get people, get their hands on the things that they need to get their hands on and volunteer and help people like you out and things of that nature. You were talking about experience. I don't want to age you out, but how much experience would you say? How long have you been here at Access 21?
I've been here since 2003.
Okay.
So in July, aired my first show 2003. Been here, then it'll be exactly 21 years. And really enjoy it, or I would not keep going.
So this question is straight from the executive producer. He wants to ask you about the change in formats, right? Going from analog, going from tape, and because I know tape was out in '03. That's how I started on those small little DV tapes, all the way up to where we are now with the MP4s and things of that nature. Like, how were those transitions for you? And
Because I'm kind of technology geeky a little bit, they weren't as hard for me, but for some of the producers that I helped, it was fairly difficult for them.
Really?
But because of my always wanting to learn something, always wanted to research. Was it fun? Not always. We had huge learning curves, but we did it. We did it. Every single one of us did it.
Yeah. What would you say is one of the biggest challenges of being a producer?
Believe it or not, for me, it's not finding guests, because I've got people.
You got to line out the door.
I do. I'm very blessed. No, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed.
Awesome.
People are actually willing to travel to come, and
Wow.
so I'm very thankful for that. But a lot of it has been the scheduling and having enough volunteers and making sure that it goes the way it's supposed to, especially when you've got people coming from long ways.
This is just a question that I just had just off the top of my head. That just thinking through some things. Being a studio coordinator here, past the labs, right? Like, cause you got a lot of people that come. Like, I'm coming to get my lab. So you get a lot of newer people. You get a lot of people that are just straight out of class and all of that. What would you say is the incentive to volunteer past those four labs? And let's just say on your show specifically, let's say that.
First of all, we're going to have a good time. Secondly, you never know who we're going to have. You never know what guest I'm going to have. I've had everything from Mickey Bell, who is a wonderful Christian comedian, who actually came and talked a good bit about depression and mental health. So that was really cool. It's been quite a number of years, but we actually had a Steinway piano brought down here.
Yeah.
And that was exciting. Different groups, a lot of them have been gospel. I've actually had skits. So we'll have fun, and I'll do anything in the world I can to help anybody else if they decide they want to do a show. And I have good food.
That's always important. That's a plus. That's a for sure thing. That's people, they love food on set, because we can't compensate them.
Exactly.
But food is definitely something that's a necessity on set.
Exactly.
Absolutely. What's one of the biggest joys of being a producer besides the food?
Learning more about my guests and actually the volunteers too. It's really easy to become close to volunteers if they want to come. And I know one of the things that we've talked about in the past, when you're producing a show, if you can get a team of volunteers, it means everything in the world, because you can kind of count on the consistency, and that's worked well for so many of the producers. And I haven't been able to get that exactly yet. I've got 2 or 3 really, really good directors.
Okay.
But I haven't had the consistent, because I know everybody's busy. Not everybody can do everything.
Right.
And it seems like we're getting busier and busier. So, but that is one thing, if you ever have any people wanting to produce their own shows.
Yeah.
Make sure you can get a team that's fairly consistent.
Yeah. So I know you talked about the struggles of keeping a team together, but do you have in your mind a dream team, or here's my A team, if I could have all of these people here on set with me each and every single time? Do you have something like that?
I do. And I'm not saying I don't have it completely, because I don't yet, but it's something I'm building toward.
Okay.
Building toward.
All right. So let's talk a little bit more about your show, because we're going to show a clip here in a minute. A Healing Touch. How did we come up with the name?
Okay. First of all, the person who got me involved in Access 21 was a gentleman by the name of Stan Jacques, who had Carolina Entertainment for 30 years before he passed away.
Wow.
That was actually 30 plus. And we were together, and it was a time in our lives together. Yes, I'm musical too, and I love the music. But we also wanted an informational show. That's when they were just coming out with, aspartame was coming out. Was it good for you? Was it bad for you? Stan had a medical background to a degree. And so we wanted something that we could do news information. So that's kind of how A Healing Touch came up. So since one producer can only have one show, he did predominantly the music, and I kind of went the other way a little bit, but we helped each other.
Okay. So you sent us a clip. Can you give us some insight on what it is that we're getting ready to watch?
The clip that I believe I sent was just a few seconds of the Mickey Bell.
Okay.
And then I had Angela, she's now King, she was Angela Bush, and Andy King doing some songs together. And I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I can't remember, but yes.
All righty. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Donna Dye.
And we go around, we did about 150 dates last year. Looks like we're going to do about 170 to 175 this year.
There's a land that is fairer than day.
So thank you for that. That gives us a little more insight on your show, and we'll continue to talk more about it and delve into that. So this is a good thing for a lot of the viewers that watch your show they're able to get some BTS, if you will, behind the scenes of what goes on your show. But speaking of which, what are and what have been some of the influences or influencers of your show? I know you spoke a little bit about Stan recently.
Yes. Also, there were like 3 shows that I worked on 3 different shows as far as helping with either directing or editing or being behind the cameras. So it was The Bag Lady with Betty Barnett, and then of course Carolina Entertainment with Stan and Jacques. So it was a lot of fun. And rephrase that question one more time because
some of the influences or influencers that make up the culmination of a healing touch, if you will.
Just some of the previous and present directors, they've helped me so much. Try something a little different in this area. Let's see if we can light this area. Just a lot of different things that even just being around different directors always can give a producer new insights.
Mm-hmm. So what keeps you going? What keeps you going in regards to producing a show for 21 plus years now?
There's a lot of people that need a lot of information. They need a lot of encouragement. They need healing. Healing happens in so many ways. It happens financially. It happens sad to say, through grief. It happens through when to put a loved one into a nursing home. It happens in self-esteem, mental issues. So many areas that we need healed from.
And your show touches on all of those things?
At some point in time, yes.
What would you categorize it as? Like, we got variety show, you got talk show. What would you say that it is? Like, where would you classify it? I know we just got done with the CMPAC with the CMPAC awards, but where would you place it?
They didn't really know where to put me. Okay, they really didn't. I mean, they just kind of said, okay. I ended up under arts and entertainment, and that's okay because I do want it to be fun. I do want it to be informational. I want it to be inspirational. I want it to be encouraging. So, variety show with fun and have different segments and different guests, and that's a hard one.
Okay.
To define myself as far as the show itself.
I get it, and I don't want to push you into that. I think that's part of the magic of the show. I think you would say that, right? Like whatever healing you feel led is needing to happen on that particular show. So how do you come up with the topics? How do you come up with this week we're going to do this, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to have this guest on. What does that process look like week to week?
Believe it or not, guest availability is part of it.
Absolutely.
Especially with my having people from out of town in many instances. And a lot of those are musicians, but they also have inspirational messages as well because they've been through a lot of different things. Sometimes it's people saying, hey, I've seen your show. I would really like to come and be on your show. And finding out what they do. And that's fun. I've made some really neat friends by that happening. And don't get me wrong, it's not like it's lined out the door, but sometimes it's just like I went to this. Sometimes it's just going to a grocery store and get talking to somebody, and they've either written a book or they've just finished a class. How is your day? And they've just finished a course of study. So it's a lot of different things that come into that.
We're talking about production. We're talking about your show and and how you produce it. And you touched on this when it came to the crew. But what do you look for in a crew member? Like, what do you look for, and maybe even in the different positions of, you got your floor director, you got your director, you got your TD, you got your audio person back there, you got your camera people. Like, you've been doing this for a while, so I think you know what it is that you're looking for. But but we don't. So what is it that that you're looking for in different positions, or in just just a crew member in general?
Somebody who wants to be here, somebody who wants to learn.
That's key.
Someone, like if there's somebody who kind of specializes, say they have a really, really good ear, that you put that person on audio. If somebody has a really good sense of decor, set design, you want to make sure that person's on your set. You just kind of look to the strengths that a person has. But the main thing as far as just in general, if people just want to come, learn, have fun, and get to know each other too, that's really important.
Awesome. What is one thing about yourself or about your show that you would want people to know? Like before we get out of here, what is one thing like, before we get in the car and before we drive home and before we get into bed and say, I wish he would have asked this, or I wish I would have said this. What is one thing that you want people to know? And it could be anything.
That life is challenging. Life can get complicated. But I want to be an encourager. I want to be somebody that people feel like they can reach out to. And even if we're doing a show or anything like that, that with the Lord's help, any obstacle can be overcome. And that I just want them to feel loved and that they are wanted and that they can make it.
Right.
They can make it.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you feel like your show reflects that many times?
I hope it does.
Yeah.
Because I spend hours editing. I actually, like, say, for example, I have a musical group. And sometimes I will put different groups together that we will just tape straight through. I'm a little different. I don't do a straight 30 minutes. I'll get a guest in here and we'll tape, or we'll do an interview, and we'll just keep going until we're out of time, because when I go into the edit suite, I want it to tell a story.
Right.
And so whether it's the same group or 2 or 3 different groups together, 2 or 3 different interviews. I actually had a minister that I interviewed that the Lord miraculously healed from cancer. And so every now and then, if I've heard of a lot of stories of somebody's just found out they've got cancer or something terminal, even if it's a rerun, I'll do part of a clip to say, hey, it's possible. Don't give up. Like I said, don't give up.
Absolutely.
So that's
Yeah.
That's what I do. I'm not sure about other people, but that's kind of what I do with my show and about my show.
That's good. Now, is your show on demand? I know there's a lot of people here that are absolutely like obtuse and like they abhor on demand for whatever reason. But is your show available on demand?
Absolutely, yes.
Why wouldn't
absolutely.
it be?
I want as many people to see it as possible. That's the reason you do things like this.
Precisely. You said
and I'm a strong believer and a strong proponent on that. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
And it airs the first and third Saturdays.
Yeah, there we go.
At 6:30 p.m.
There you go.
Live streaming, and then I promise you within 48 to 72 hours you will be able to find it unless there's a technical difficulty.
Okay. Awesome. Now, real quick before we get out of here, 30-second elevator pitch. Why should people watch your show? Say they just tuned in just now. Why should people watch your show?
Because they never know what's going to happen on it. It's fun. Hopefully it's encouraging. I want them to reach out and let me know if they enjoy the show. And of course, we always have the contact information at the end of the program. If there's a specific area that they would like to see explored, I'm open to that too, if I have the means and the possibilities to do it. So yes, please tune in. Please join us. And please communicate. What do you want to see?
That's good. That's good. How can they get in? They can when they watch your show, you got all the information to
yes,
say.
And I'll leave my telephone number listed at the end of the credits.
Okay.
And Yeah.
There we go. That's a Healing Touch every first and third Saturday at
6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m. Ms. Donna, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming in and answering my questions.
Okay. Glad to
I
do it.
appreciate you. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been CMPAC Spotlight. Peace. Bailey, Daddy loves you.